Today we're reviewing a great budget 7-inch monitor by Shimbol company, which can record 1080p footage at up to 60 frames per second inside of it to the SD card, and it also has 2200 nits of brightness. What's good, guys? My name is Oleg Nikitin, you're watching No Limits On channel, and let's have a closer look at the Shimbol Memory 7 Pro. The monitor comes in the cardboard box. Also in the kit you'll find a special cold shoe mount which can be tilted, and you have an Allen key to adjust it, and we have the HDMI full size and the SDI cables as well as the cleaning cloth. And the monitor itself comes in this Pelican style plastic box which protects it very securely. On the back of the monitor we have SDI in and out, as well as two places for the NPF batteries, and it draws less than 10 watts of power, so it'll last for a very long time. We have a USB Type-C port for firmware updates, as well as 3/4 inch threads on the bottom. On the side we have a DC in, headphone jack and HDMI in and out, and on the top we have the power on button as well as 3 functional buttons which can be customized. And on the other side we have a 1/4 inch thread for accessories and an SD card for 64 gigs by Kingston. V10, pretty nice card, so you can record onto it as well. And here are the specs of this monitor, guys. You can pause the video and check those out. And I'd like to mention that this monitor has 1800:1 contrast ratio. Here is my Sony camera at sunny weather mode in terms of the brightness, and 100% brightness on the monitor. And here is the difference in brightness levels. So this monitor is much more bright than your camera monitor. And I would also like to mention that I did have a real shoot with this monitor outdoors in bright sunny day together with my friend who's a dancer. His name is Konstantin. And if you want to watch the full video, you can head to my 24mm f1.8 lens by 7 Artisans review. And now let's go through the functions of this monitor. On the top we have the input source, HDMI or SDI, as well as the resolution, the memory card, and the battery status. You can also turn the image upside down or flip it. Also right here I'm demonstrating 3 function buttons which can be customized, and I'll show you in a minute which functions you can assign for those function buttons. Also in the main menu we have the input source, so you have to change it from HDMI to SDI if you use SDI. Here we have the waveform, the RGB parade, histogram, and vectorscope. You can change the opacity, but unfortunately you cannot change the placement of those scopes, so keep that in mind. On the next tab we have our safe area markers, so you can enable it and you can customize it. You can change the ratio and the color. You can have your grids on, and it's especially useful for real estate photography and videography. We have the anamorphic desqueeze with all of those ratios, so it's very easy to use with anamorphic lenses. As well as we have the markers, the center marker, the matte function. So basically each and every function you'll need from an on-camera monitor. On the next tab we have our focus peaking, which can be adjusted in terms of sensitivity and color. And we also have a zoom function, so when you enable this zoom function you can use the pinch to zoom gesture to zoom into your image. On the next tab we have our 3D LUTs, so you can upload up to 50 LUTs to this monitor. We have the gamma curve adjustment as well as the HDR workflow, including PQ and HLG, and you can customize the color temperature of the monitor. You can even adjust it manually in the user tab. The next menu is responsible for your recordings, so you can change it to the trigger mode or to the timecode mode. You can pick the timecode value and the bitrate of the internal recording, as well as the file naming. And on the settings tab we have different settings for the display itself, such as brightness, contrast, saturation, sharpness, so you can definitely customize this monitor for your likings and make the image look exactly like you need it. And the best thing about the Shimbol monitors, all of them have the RGB adjustment levels, so you can customize it and make sure that this monitor is color accurate and you don't have to rely on scopes. You can just trust your eyes when you look at this monitor after you calibrate it. On the next tab we have our backlight adjustment, and outdoors I would definitely stick to 100% because this monitor does have a very nice brightness and it draws not a lot of power. We have our audio bar on the bottom right corner, as well as the function buttons customization. So here are the functions that you can assign for the function buttons, and I have assigned the waveform as well as the false color and the record button to those 3. And in the last tab we have our usual settings like factory reset and language change. You can also play back the footage that's been recorded to this monitor, and in terms of the resolution, of course, compared to the 4K internal recording it is not as sharp, but as a super backup option it is definitely worth it, so it's a nice thing to have. I would also like to mention that this monitor can accept 4K signal at up to 30 frames frames per second, and if you want to shoot in 4K 50 or 60, you can simply set it in 1080p in your camera output settings and use it in 4K 100 frames per second even. And if you want to use SDI, it is limited to 1080p 60 frames per second, as in most monitors, almost each and every monitor that has SDI. And also this monitor is 455 grams, so it's not super heavy, but it's made out of metal completely. And finally, guys, about the pricing, on B&H, I saw this monitor for $479, and for a 7-inch with recording capabilities, 2200 nits of brightness, and all the functionality, I think that this monitor is definitely worth the price. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask them down below in the comment section. And also, if you did enjoy this video, smash the like and subscribe buttons and hit the notifications bell. And right here, I have a review of my favorite Shimbol monitor with built-in transmitter and receiver for wireless video transmission, so you can check that video next. See you there, guys. Take care. Bye.